We raised our seed round late 2020 for $2 million, and that was it. We were bootstrapped before that.
Yeah. Congrats. So was it I think I read it was a party round, or did you have a lead investor that?
No, it was a party round. It was a 2 million party round. We started fundraising March 2020, so right when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And no one knew what the hell they wanted to do with their money, and everyone was panicking that the world was gonna end in the next 30 days. So we were stocking up on toilet paper. Um, so it was definitely a challenging first kind of 4 months fundraising. I learned a lot, made me very tough. Took a lot of meetings, took a lot of no's, but again, a lot of value came out of that experience.
Talk about that. Let's go into a little more detail on that. So, how are you finding people that were interested in a sneaker community marketplace, which is a fairly, I don't want to say niche, but it is kind of pretty niche business,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So it was one of the decisions we made in February. We said, well, we want to focus on growth. We want to focus on scale. We want to raise some money so that we can build the product that we're envisioning. So we joined Launch Accelerator by Jason Calacanis. That started, I believe, in March or April, like that. It was right around then that we committed to the accelerator. So for 4 months up until August, 5 months, we went with weekly pitch sessions with them. It's a great program. It really helped. I mean, opened up my network. I'm a second time founder, first time raising. I had no idea what I was doing this time last year, like at all. So I kind of just got thrown into the fire. We were pitching to Sequoia, USV, all the big firms were coming to these meetings, usually 10 to 15 VCs. So we'd pitch Thursdays, and it really helped me fine tune my craft as someone who's raising money. And that was really the process from April to August for us.
Interesting. Is that I'm familiar with it, but for people who aren't, is it are they taking equity? Is the Launch Accelerator investing in you? Is it sort of the traditional accelerator model?
It was $100,000 investment in return for a convertible note or safe. I forget which terminology of it, which guaranteed them equity at our next round that had that wasn't a note, that was a fixed price.
Cool. And then these pitch Thursdays, let's talk about that because that's interesting. They would bring in, was it a panel of investors? And then you would
go ahead. Yeah. So we were supposed to be there. Sorry, I should backtrack. I was supposed to fly to San Francisco every Wednesday night or Thursday morning, spend the day, and then head home, and we'd pitch in person. That's normally how the accelerator was for them. So they do, I want to say, 2 or 3 cohorts a year in person, 7 companies, the $100,000 investments. We were the first remote one, which was very interesting. I think ultimately it was for the best, and I preferred it that way. And they have as well, because I think they're doing 7 cohorts now a year with 7 companies per, because it just allowed them to scale a little bit quicker and make more investments. But ultimately, we'd hop on a Zoom just like we are right now. We had a process where the 7 companies would pitch for 3 minutes, take questions for 2 minutes. We go through all the companies. At the end, investors would vote their, first, second, third favorite companies. We'd get, tally up the points. Someone would win that week. Again, usually 10 to 15 investors on the call. They take turn asking questions. And after that, if someone voted for you, or if you wanted to reach out, you could, request a meeting, et cetera, et cetera. And usually that's where kind of the dialogue would start, because someone would go like, hey, I love this. This is my favorite company in the cohort. Let's talk some more.
Okay. And next logical question, did any of those, I guess, sort of practice pitch meetings lead to investors coming in writing a check, or was it just really good practice for you?
No, I so from a perspective of, I can only speak from my cohort at the time. A lot of them during the process got commitments, got a term sheet, got a lead. I struggled to get that lead and that term sheet because I was selling community, regardless of sneakers. I was selling community, which was really hard for people to understand at the time. And then on top of that, I was talking about sneakers. So it was just this like 1-2 punch of like, this doesn't make any sense and it can't scale. Obviously, as the pandemic continued on and things shifted, that kind of the understanding of what this company can mean and how it can scale changed. The perspective changed for VCs. But during it, for me, we got really close to a lot of investments, but ultimately didn't close them during the time of the accelerator. But it was totally like, the point was like, come out of this and raise what you wanted. We weren't one of them, which, is no harm for us because we figured it out after.
Interesting. That's really interesting. And thanks for being so candid. I love stories where it's like, hey, wasn't all just this up and to the right. Perfect,
oh God.
Scenario.
I will say we as a company have been growing very consistently. That helped our fundraising. We went from 30,000 MRR when we joined the accelerator to by the end of the year, I think we were at 130. That's a nice sales pitch when raising a seed round to show that growth consistently. And that's what we focused on as a company. Obviously, it was a lot more challenging to try to raise money during a pandemic and run a company. But, we focused, the team helped, we picked up the slack where everyone could, and we grew and we got to that point.